Okay, welcome. Well, we're with Many Hands, and we decided to get together so that we could talk about really community and what's going on. The passing of Nipsey Hussle, what that means to those of us for more for our communities. And we wanted to get everybody on and get some reactions. On our last call, our last podcast, we talked about freedom fighters, if there are any freedom fighters left. So it's kind of interesting that we could come back to this point where it feels like not only are we stealing from our future, but we clearly lost a freedom fighter. So, Many Hands, fellas, what do you think?
I'm honestly, I'm still kind of, getting through it. It's been definitely a tough read, and it's always interesting. I obviously never knew if Nipsey Hussle or anything like that, but I still feel like he was somebody that I was close to and that I could relate to, and it stings just the same. But it's a huge loss. Another thing I want to say is that it's as sad as it is, kind of like kinds of things happen. It's you realize the good work that has been done after the fact. I wasn't aware of his artistry and talent. I wasn't aware of all his workings in the community and what he's doing as far as working with LAPD, working on violence issues and resolving that. So I just wasn't aware. But it's a big loss overall.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm the same way. I feel like I didn't know the depth of his contribution until after the fact, but I got caught up really quickly. After his passing, you start to see the amount of people that are reaching out and or have he's impacted, whether it's musicians or athletes or just regular folks that just see what he was doing in the community and is really doing the work. And so to see somebody like that taken down too soon, it's been tough.
Yeah, I agree. I was familiar with Nipsey Hussle, basically introduced to him, obviously through the music, but didn't follow him very closely. But in recent years, he has been on Breakfast Club quite a bit. And I've seen his growth from 2013, 2014. Just he understood that he had to make some changes in order to make his community better as a whole. And as we always wait for other people to do things, he felt he needed to take the initiative and spark change. And like you stated, I didn't realize the depth of the contributions, his interactions with local government, with local police, and the impact that he actually, reaching out to the gangs and youth. I didn't realize all of that as well. So, but I did know what his vision was and what his plans were, and it was cool to see them all come to fruition. And it's just sad. It's just truly sad.
Yeah. There's some, I guess, conspiracy theories going around. Is it because, did all this happen because he was going to highlight Dr. Kenny and all the things that he's done tend to be controversial? And while he has a lot of followers, he also had a lot of people who wanted to stop what he was putting out there, the information and the knowledge that he was distributing. Do you give that any credence?
It's tough. I don't know. So bad. You go ahead, Real.
I mean, initially, I feel like anything is possible. We shouldn't be surprised by anything. In this particular case, instead, I don't really buy into that. I feel like, I guess for what I'm trying to say, I guess the timing of it all seems a little suspicious. I think ultimately it was just a situation where jealousy and envy, was involved from my perspective.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just kills me, man. I'm like, when are we going to stop silencing our leaders? Our leaders have changed. And yeah, it does seem like it may have been a random situation where they knew each other, but jealousy got in the way. And it seems like we're still in that. We're still having that battle, that crabs in the barrel type of battle where someone's coming up, someone's doing the right thing, doing their thing, and instead of applauding them and maybe reaching out to say, help me, or how can I do what you do, we're just so quick to try and chop people down. And it's tough.
I feel like we're the only ethnicity that says move in silence and you can't do this and there's no trust and there's no, whereas other communities don't, oh, my money will go to my people. I will support my economy. And every time we make a move to do that, it seems that we have to take a step back. We're not ready for it.
That's interesting you said that, because we are the only community. It seems as we are the only community that have the crab in the barrel mentality. It's frustrating, but the one thing, but going back to conspiracy theories, I do believe in conspiracy theories. I just don't believe necessarily this one is that. Rio, I agree with you. I think it was just an individual who was in his feelings and decided to, what we say, don't make permanent, decisions based off temporary situations. That was a temporary situation, and the ultimate finality. And that's just sad. It's just sad. And not only that, that was in front of his family. That was in front of his place of business. He was creating community. He was creating jobs. He was doing the right thing and in his place of business. And, we all know what happened.
Right. And according to some else, what I'm hearing is that he was actually there to go to get clothes for a buddy that just got to go see his family. He's going to provide clothes to make sure he was presentable. Even in that moment, a couple of hours or so, he was helping somebody.
Yeah.
So where do we go from here? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I read something today that his brother spoke out, and his brother walked up on him and tried to help, gave him CPR and whatever. And he was like, the people say, well, why didn't somebody shoot back or whatever? And he said that Nipsey, he employed a lot of felons who couldn't get work other places because they were felons. But because they're felons, they can't carry weapons. So nobody was armed. And so that's why, he shot, and then he went away and realized nobody reacted. So he came back again, shot again, and realized again, he ran away, and nobody came back. So he went back the last time. And, and it's tough because, again, he's just trying to help people get back on their feet.
Yeah. So where do we go from here?
It's been. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say it's a great question. Unfortunately, I don't have a clear answer. I feel like this is just something that's going to take a long time. Some major leaders and freedom fighters that you mentioned earlier that have passed away before completing their task. Look at Tupac was somebody that kind of moved inside as far as doing stuff for the community. He didn't like a lot of this televised or known about. He just do it in silence. But he's another one. So the impact's pretty similar. I kind of feel the same way when the day that Pac ends. I just feel like we're a long ways. I don't know where we go from here, like right in this moment. But obviously we have to make some point. But it just keeps repeating itself.
Yeah, it has been a tough week. It's a little shocking just because as you hear of more of the news coming out that the next day he was meeting with the police commissioner, he was meeting with local government, the mayor. He was meeting with people that were going to help affect change immediately. Now, one thing about tragedy is it does spark change, and it does sometimes light a fire under that next individual. And I just hope in those communities that is something that does happen, that an individual and maybe someone in his own camp or someone close to it will have the ability to want to carry on that vision and carry it out, because he had a very detailed vision on what he wanted and how he wanted to carry it out, and his family was very close with those plans, very intertwined. So hopefully his death won't be in vain, and the struggle will continue, the vision and the movement will continue.
Absolutely. I want to say another thing. I think I agree with everything that Antoine just said. I think sometimes what happens is like people will spark this movement, say this definitely will spark and light a fire. But it's all about, can we keep that fire going?
Mhm.
Things tend to lose steam over time. But we need more people, it's kind of a volume thing. We need more people to get involved and be that agent of change. Sometimes things, they have a habit of time, so to speak. But I feel like there has definitely a spark now, but the question is, how long will this last,
And real quick, I'm sorry, real quick, Snoop. I really see, because as we know, Snoop is very big in local community in LA, and working with government and police. I believe that he would be, a powerful leader to step up and say, you know what, I started this movement. I want to carry on my brother's legacy, and I want to keep moving. Now, again, we don't know if those are his plans, but that is his personality, and that is who he is. And I think he would step in and carry that torch gladly, or may even be more driven to carry that torch.
And I saw that Nick Cannon said he would step in and finish the documentary on Dr. Sebi in Nipsey's honor. And so, yeah, I agree. It's like other people have to step up, get galvanized and kind of keep it going. But more importantly, we have to be able to talk to one another in our community and say, like, look, it doesn't, we can do it together. It doesn't have to be the fighting or the, if I get on and you can't get on. I mean, if I get on, you can get on as well. It's trying to keep things moving in the positive direction in hopes that we can get there, someday.
Yeah. I just feel like there needs to be, Rio, can you mute your line real quick? I think there needs to be like a Black agenda. There's always been a Black agenda when it comes to Black America. So as it states by the NAACP or the state of Black America, and those conversations have been all the way up to the type of administration on a presidential level. And you wonder, with another person fighting for economic change and growth and strength, what that really means. We need to combine his thoughts to a real Black American and agenda and be able to distribute it. We shouldn't find out so much about him now after his passing. It would have been nice to be on the bandwagon while he was here and create that momentum for change. So I think it's that kind of incremental change and growth and mindset shift that's going to help us out.
Yeah, something too that just to point out. So today is April 5th. April 4th, 1968, Martin Luther King was assassinated. And so it caused me to take a look and say, well, where are we now from where we were? He talked about economic change in the Black community. And once he started to have those conversations, that's when he became even more of a threat. And so it's like this thing that anytime we want to economically empower the Black community, then those folks that are speaking up the most are somehow taken away from us. So keeping the message of economic empowerment and buying back the block and investing and supporting, supporting Black businesses, starting more Black-owned businesses is the way. I feel like that's the way to do it. We just have to keep going.
One thing that today I watched Dame Dash. He talked about he did an interview and talked about Nipsey and how every time he saw him, he just wanted more information. He said every time I saw him, he just wanted to learn more about how to, Dame's words, be a boss. But I looked at his friendships. Gary Vee, that was one of his very good friends. He reached out to a lot of tech giants, and he had partnerships in other industries. He was on a path of growing wealth. And as we know, you can be rich, but wealth brings change. And, it was important to hear these celebrities speak out the last couple of days, because a lot of the times you don't even hear about their relationships. And like you said, it's a problem when we always pay, homage and tribute to people when they're gone. You need to talk about these people while they still smell the rose. And that is a very important thing. But I do believe people love Nipsey genuinely because of who he was. He really did want change, and he was about action. And I think a lot more of us need to be about it.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like also back to we need to be also more on a teaming versus competition mindset. When we talk about supporting each other and building up economically and so forth. So I think once we take on that mentality, as a whole, I think we'll be in good shape. And going back to what Brian was speaking about, MLK and so forth, I think we've seen some good strides since then, but we're still a long way. We still have a long way to go. And just this recent, tragedy proves that.
Yeah, and that's pretty unfortunate that we're still, it's gone from post-slavery to Jim Crow to civil rights. Still, you don't really see the victory.
Mm-hmm.
It's still a very needed conversation.
Absolutely.
Well, I appreciate you, fam, for coming on and at least relaying our sentiments. I always hope that we have some kind of solutions when we close, but we keep the conversation going, and that's just important. Anybody have any closing remarks?
I want to say thanks again. It's always a pleasure connecting with you all. Rest in power to Nipsey Hussle. Everything he's put in, what he was trying to do, like you said earlier, looking forward to seeing not just us, but people across the world, taking that over and moving forward. So we can see some on the lasting.
All right. Twan? I just pray for peace for his family. His spouse, she's in a lost place right now, and his daughter and his son, their father left basically to go to work, and he's not coming home. So just peace for the family overall. His brother, his dad, these guys, they were there. That's just peace.
Yeah. And B?
Yeah, D.L. Hughley said, "You never have a tomorrow when you keep killing it today." We gotta do a better job. We just gotta keep, he said, those people when you're struggling, just hold on a little bit longer. Tomorrow comes, and there's more opportunity tomorrow. But if we keep killing our tomorrows, our todays, we're not gonna have our tomorrows. So, like I said, RIP to Nipsey, and let's keep moving it along with this podcast and this group. We'll do our part to continue the legacy.
All right, everybody. Appreciate you guys, and we're out. We'll be back on with the next hot topic. All right.